to the Pixelship podcast. I am Neil, and I will be taking you on this voyage today, along with my handsome and devilish friends, Ryan Blandy,
Tic-tac-toe! Ho, ho, ho!
Ryan Hayes.
I really like orange Tic Tacs.
Orange Tic Tacs are pretty tits. And back with us once again, Joel Hartlob.
Happy New Year.
Happy fucking New Year. It is the first of the year, the friggin' equinox. Let's do this. I'm ready. Not really. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be doing.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's really an equinox.
Well, whatever.
I say, wasn't the equinox a few days ago?
Yeah, first of the year. It's a song.
I got you now. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
Is it that flute playing guy?
The what?
Is it that flute playing guy, the Age of Aquarius guy?
It's
Jethro
not the
Tull?
flute playing guy.
Flute
It's
playing guy?
the
You mean
guy
Link?
he plays an ocarina. No, it's Skrillex.
Yas flute?
It's Yas flute.
No, it is Skrillex. All right, thanks. So this is awesome, guys.
Off to a great start.
We are doing so fantastic. Steam sale is still on. We have what? One more day? 2 more days?
Well,
It's basically over. There's no more flash sales.
There's no more flash sales, but the Encore sales are up, and those are the ones that are pretty good. For the most
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is it pretty good? Because I think that it was pretty shit.
I mean, I got 2 games that I wanted, and they were the cheapest I've ever seen them. So, it was
Yeah.
a total loss.
There you go.
I spent a lot of money.
I spent a good amount of money. I spent definitely more money than I've spent in the past few Steam sales. But I don't know. Picked up Borderlands the pre-sequel. Ryan and I were playing that for a little bit. It's pretty fun.
So
Well, we'll
what's
talk about that
what's
later.
the
We'll talk
big
about that later.
difference other than the oxygen gauge? Like, what makes that a better
I
Borderlands
get to be
game?
claptrap.
I guess we'll just
That's
go
it.
into. I guess we'll talk about Borderlands now. Yeah. Well, the game has a more '80s feeling soundtrack, which
Okay.
I
Yeah.
really like. That kind of pulls
That's
me
good.
in.
Does this take place in the 80s?
It does not. It takes place right after the first one, I think, or right
it
after
like-
the second one. Right, Ryan? Isn't that the
Yes,
timeline?
yeah, in the timeline, it's right after the first one and its subsequent DLCs.
Right.
And then, but it also, the way the story's presented is they're telling a story after Borderlands 2.
Correct.
So, like, like the current state of the world is after Borderlands 2, but they're asking the main character, whoever it be, who's tied up, going like, okay, how did this happen? And then it's all told through flashbacks.
Okay,
Right, but flashbacks that you're playing.
sure.
Right.
Interactive.
Interactive. Yeah.
It is a storytelling device.
Right.
Handsome Jack.
And you do have some handsome Jack, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for a game that's different than Borderlands 2, this is not one of them.
This is not for you.
It's very similar, like very, very similar to Borderlands 2. But I really like Borderlands 2. I am fine with getting another like DLC. The world is on a moon, so it's extraordinarily floaty. You can also use your oxygen tank as a pseudo jetpack that doesn't go very high and doesn't go very far, but I mean it gives you a little bit of extra boost, which is cool. So that adds another element, and you can slam while you're in the air. You can just slam down on enemies. So it adds a little bit of that kind of things. And of course, some of my favorite parts of Borderlands 2, and I've never played Borderlands 1, but I assume Borderlands 1, are the special powers. And with 4 new characters and 4 new classes, you get 4 new special powers to jerk around with, which is a lot of fun.
Do you
I love
find the
jerking it
oxygen
around.
meter a hindrance at all? Like, I always find the, oh, you're underwater, you're running out of oxygen thing, like one of the most annoying gameplay mechanics.
It always takes me back to Sonic.
I do not. No, I don't find it annoying. It really doesn't. It doesn't hinder you at all. There are enough like oxygen, and I'm pretty early in the game. I'm only level 5, But
If you're Claptrap, it doesn't use any oxygen.
right,
Is there a
Claptrap
robot?
doesn't.
All right,
breathe.
that's all right. That's pretty cool.
So, but I'm playing as the sheriff, whatever the hell her name is, that you fight in Borderlands 2.
The
Right?
Sheriff of Lynchwood.
Of Lynchwood. That's it. The sheriff of Lynchwood.
She has a name.
She
It
does.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She likes to fire pistols and she likes to shoot sniper rifles. So I was like, all right, let's see what this broad's all about. And that's what she's pretty much all about, just shooting pistols and sniper rifles. Not a whole lot of depth there. But yeah, she's fun. She uses oxygen. She breathes. And that's it. That's all I got on Borderlands 2. Like I said, I just got it today. So I haven't really played it too heavy. And Ryan, you haven't played it that heavily either. But you've
Nope.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, back to talking about what we've played this week. Let's go on. Let's keep going with Ryan. Blandy, why don't you tell us some more about what you played this week?
Joel got me Tales from the Borderlands. I played it in one day because
right?
I was
Christmas
really
Day.
excited, and it's a good game. I love it. It's
Now,
got
it's-
Chris Hardwick in it.
Right.
He's your best buddy.
It's got Chris Hardwick. In case you haven't had enough Chris Hardwick shoved down your throat lately.
I like Chris Hardwick, but I am very, very tired of seeing Chris Hardwick on things and in
I'm not-
things.
I'm gonna go along with you there. I really actually like Chris Hardwick a good amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. He's got his finger in a lot of cookie jars. It's a lot
And
of
you know what? Good for him for
My
getting
ass is
work
everywhere.
and you know being out there and doing stuff. It's just I can take a break.
Yeah. But that's cool. And the game's neat. It's a neat story.
Oh yeah, it is a great story, full of laughs and wonderful times. You get to see Zero in the first one, but if you've seen screenshots of it, like you would have already known that. There are a few surprises. I won't ruin it. But yeah, as far as does this live up to a Telltale game? Of course, it is a fantastic romp. And it is nice to see a Telltale game, especially of recent, where they can have a little fun again. Because, there's killing and maiming and stuff like that, but it is nice to, have a Telltale game that has some jokes in it again. Instead of like, come on, Big B, let's murder some peoples.
Do you think it's as funny as the first season of Sam and Max? Because I feel like that was the highlight of.
Like, the thing is, some of the jokes, if you're not a Borderlands fan, you're not going to get them.
Sure, but I
So,
think that's
it definitely does a lot of fan service, but I love fan service.
you're a fan.
But, yeah, but still, the jokes are pretty good. It does take the source material and still spins a wonderful, original story. But yeah, it's very good. Highly suggest it. And yeah, wonderful.
Sweet. Tales from the Borderlands. Anything else that you played this week other than
Oh, Dragon Age.
copious amounts of Dragon Age? We did talk about that last time.
Yeah, Dragon Age, and I like Joel.
What?
I'm sorry you had to make that choice, man.
Yeah, now you know what I was talking about.
Yeah, like the thing is, for mine, it was fucking Stroud
Right.
from the second one, so I didn't give a shit about that fucker.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's-
you, dude.
That's what I figured. So.
But yeah, you had a choice between Alistar.
Hey, don't give. So
Yeah,
much.
come on.
Don't-
Why,
It
why
just-
are you even talking about this right now? This is enjoyable for
Not
two people.
podcast talk.
Yeah, this isn't podcast talk.
I'm just saying, you had a hard choice.
Yeah, it was tough. I made my decision and I stand by it. I'll tell you who I chose later, but anyway.
All right, cool.
But yeah, Dragon Age is fantastic. There's a reason it is Game of the Year. It's wonderful. If you haven't gone and bought it, you are a silly fool. Because even if you don't like Dragon Age, this one's for you.
All right.
Because it's amazing.
Sounds wonderful. I'm pretty excited about Dragon Age.
If you don't buy it, you know, you might get herpes.
I will not buy it.
Herpes.
That's possibly true. I don't know.
Herpes on your lips.
Okay, well, do you have anything else that you've played this week?
Maybe inside your nose. Except for Team Fortress, nothing.
Sweet.
Not even Destiny?
Not in the past week. I kind of took
Whoa.
a break.
Oh, did they actually give you a reason to play Destiny, or?
Well, of course. I usually play it, once every few days to get, bounties in. And
I haven't even tried the new DLC stuff.
new DLC stuff's pretty cool. It would be better if I had someone to play with.
Yeah, well, I feel like Destiny did not live up to most people's expectations. And
Such a bummer.
The
It's
longevity.
Hey man, for
well-made
a first-person shooter, man, if you consider okay, they left Halo to make this, okay?
Right.
So if you think of it as a Halo game, oh man, I got my $60. Of course I did.
Right, but how much death matching do you do?
Not any.
Okay. So,
I actually like the multiplayer deathmatch in that game. I think that is surprisingly well done. It's not as good as Halo, but I
right.
don't think there is much that is.
Not.
Yeah, but you
not
get
as far as
items,
that's
you get
concerned.
fulfillment from doing that. Where in Halo, you don't do that. You don't get items.
I like it.
That is correct, but I mean, Halo did have kind of a level playing field, which
It just felt so good.
right. There's something to be said for.
Well, did you hear about the new Halo? Now you have looking down the sights, and people are saying for the new Halo 5 that it's fucking things up.
No,
It's
I've
no
heard nothing
longer-
but good.
Shoot from the hip.
I've heard nothing but good things about 5, and the gameplay I've seen makes it look a lot quicker. I'm actually kind of excited for that, even though I don't have an Xbox One.
Xbox One. Xbox One's price going back up, right, Ryan? Going to 400 again?
Yes, after tomorrow. Tomorrow's the
Oh,
last day.
wow. I didn't think they would actually do that.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, of course they will. Everybody bought it.
Motherfucking money!
Motherfucking money!
All right, cool. So that's all you've played. Let's move on to Mr. Joel Hartlob. I've been seeing you play copious amounts of video games lately. Let's hear
Yeah, I
about it.
kind of went nuts with the Steam sale and spent probably more money than I should have. But most of the games I got were under $10, so.
All right.
Yeah.
But I bought a ton of stuff, and most of it I haven't even played yet.
How it works.
Like Transistor, I got and didn't play it yet. Child of Light, Bully, a couple other
I'm
ones.
excited to play Bully.
Pretty excited to
Yeah.
play Bull. Have you ever played it?
I have not.
I have not either.
I played it on the Wii.
Oh, okay.
Very
What?
briefly.
I have it for PS2. Well, what?
But yeah, I feel like this is definitely a game I just kind of, with not a ton out right now, would be a nice one to just kind of pop in and mess around with.
Yeah. All right, cool.
But
What have
Then
you
the-
played?
the games I have played, I played Dark Souls 2. Got that fairly cheap.
I don't
Played a
know
lot of that.
how you're dealing with that.
That's a good game. I mean, I like it better than the first one. Just I think the difficulty scale is better.
More than Dark Souls or better than Demon Souls?
I mean, more than the first Dark Souls. And by scaling, I mean like it doesn't get ridiculously hard after the first boss.
I think it's ridiculous.
I mean, it scales at a rate that I think is normal. And while the stuff is still fairly difficult and takes a couple tries to beat, I think it's just I've gotten further in this than I did in the first game.
I haven't played a ton of it. I keep wanting to buy it because it's on sale
was
right
like-
now on
It was
Steam.
like $15 when I bought it.
It is
It
right
is
now.
now,
as
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it's
but
well worth it.
they're coming out with like a whatever.
See,
Fleet
I saw
edition.
that.
I'm a
but-
man of my word.
I saw that, but that's not till like April, and I was like, I think I can get $15 worth of this game
I'm
by
certain
April.
you can get 15 out
So-
of it. Oh, I'm also Bloodborne is coming out soon-ish, so that's got my attention.
I don't really.
But maybe I'll pick it up while we still have a couple days left
Yeah.
for me to cave.
Other games, Tropico 5, which is basically Tropico 4, except with some like a couple of different features.
And cigars.
Yeah, they're always in there.
Yeah, there's always cigars.
Baby.
What else?
Cigars.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that I've actually played. Spec Ops: The Line is the big one that I like. I didn't put as much time as it. I actually beat it in like a day and a half
It's super short.
after like 5-6 hours of gameplay. But
Way too short.
it's a pretty good game.
So, how much did you know going into it of what that game was?
I knew what it was. I knew vaguely what it was supposed to be about. Like at least the concept
About a
of
grandmother.
some of the story stuff, like the fact that it's based on like Heart of Darkness.
Okay.
It's that kind of concept, and like I said, the reason I even like was considering it because I see Spec Ops: The Lines, I think like crappy military shooter that's probably gonna suck.
So
And
that's what made me think, why did you pick it up? Like, what was kind of the impetus for, like, did
The
you
reason-
know it was more than just another
I
kind of
did.
cover-based shooter?
I did, and I mean gameplay wise, it plays pretty smoothly, but it's nothing special, you know.
It's perfectly competent, though.
Yeah,
I
it's-
never hit a point where I was frustrated with
Yeah,
the game.
it's good for what it does. However, the reason I picked it up is, like I was saying earlier, Yahtzee, who also does reviews and stuff, does the zero punctuation thing. It was like one of the few games that I ever saw him give a review for that he was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And it's not even about the gameplay, it's just about the story and like the characters and how they develop through the story based on what's going on around him.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty dark and pretty, I don't know, like you have to make decisions at certain points throughout the game. And you really, like, there's never a black and white. There are always very gray areas, you know? And the results of which you don't really know what's going to happen until you're not really going to be able to predict what the outcome's going to be until after you make the decision. And there's some points where you're like, shit, and you just kind of feel bad or stuff like that, you know?
It's a game that's difficult to talk about without spoiling specific moments, but it handles the military kind of shooter genre with a lot, maybe respect is a bad word. It handles more mature subjects and not like ultra-violent subjects. Like you said, it's a lot of gray areas. It's a lot of, okay, combat situations. How does this actually affect human beings?
It really actually makes you like think and feel bad about the fact that you're killing a whole bunch of people.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
it brings that to the forefront for you, and I mean you don't really think about that when you play Call of Duty and you're just running through a bunch of guys and murdering like thousands of people. You don't really think about it until, but this game really kind of like brings that to the forefront, and like as things get like, you know, I guess more intense towards the end of the story, even the loading screens will start like it's not tooltips anymore. It's like I don't want to. It's just like I don't know.
It's difficult to talk about other
Yeah.
than if you play a lot of military shooters, it is well worth playing if you like that type of game and you want something that maybe handles the subject matter a little bit better than any other of those games do.
It's definitely if you're fine playing like the third person cover based shooters, and you want a game that's kind of like you're saying more mature with
Subject
like
matter.
it's more. I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily more realistic,
No,
but
no,
I mean
absolutely not.
in a sense it is in the fact that the people actually feel bad what's going
People
on.
seem to have some sort of
Yeah.
conscience in those games.
And you know, I was playing through the game at first, and I've probably played a couple hours at this point. And I was like, I don't really see what the big deal is so far. Like, nothing's really happened that really made me think, oh shit, this sucks.
It
And then
takes a while to get going.
And then something does, and you're like, oh fuck. It was like literally right before this like big event in the game happens. I was just thinking, I was like, holy, I don't understand. I don't see what all the hype was about. This game doesn't really seem that much different from any of the other shooters I played. And then like just like one little thing it wasn't one little thing, it was actually kind of a big thing happens, and you actually feel really, really bad.
The shit hits the fan, huh?
Yeah, you feel like you're like, oh shit. So,
All right. Well, that was informative, but not too informative.
that's what I was going.
Fake video game minute.
Yeah.
Trying not to give spoilers.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a game you honestly have to play to appreciate, but if you can get it cheap, it's, what did you think you played? 3 hours? 4 hours?
Six was
6
when
hours.
all of a sudden. I definitely am going to try and play through it again at some point because I want to see what changes when you, if anything, when you make different decisions.
Sure. Yeah.
So like when you get to certain points in it, because I was really curious even as I was playing as to like what would happen if I went back and did something differently. So
The game's not that great. Go on YouTube.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing it again. It
Alright.
wasn't that bad.
Sure.
And
No,
it's
I don't
short.
think it
It's
was
so
bad.
short.
I'm just saying.
That
It's
is
so
true.
short that you can just pound it out in like a weekend.
Yeah, you
And
might
I
as
think
well
that
get
is intentional to some degree.
get
I
your
love to
10 bucks
pound it
out
out
of
at
it.
a weekend.
Pound
So-
out that $10 on the weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely worth the $6 I paid for it.
You paid 6. That's
I
10
think it was
per
5 or
member.
6.
All right, cool. I know you've played other things too.
Yeah, the only other one that really comes to mind right now is Divinity: Original Sin, but I haven't put enough time into that to really say much about it.
Right.
So I just kind of picked it up and started playing it today.
I also picked that up today and started playing it today.
Yeah.
For you,
It's-
those of you that don't know, it's a CRPG. CRPG is a computer RPG, so it's in the same vein as the original Fallout, like Fallout 1 and 2, like Neverwinter
Baldur's
Nights,
Gate.
Baldur's Gate, that kind of thing. Where this one differs is there is no real-time combat at all. So it's all like, I guess in Fallout it's VATS, the VATS system, or you have a certain number of action points is where they break it down for your combat.
Yeah.
So you expend your action points to do whatever you're going to do in that time throughout your party. I really like the original Fallouts, so that's why I was okay with getting this game, picking it up. It also got Game of the Year. It also has incredible reviews. So for those of you that like those kind of games, that like turn-based action kind of RPGs, this is definitely a rare game. They don't make games like this anymore. So it's very cool that Kickstarter, that they put it on Kickstarter, it made over $1 million, and they decided let's put this game out. And I don't know if any of you guys have heard anything about it, but I have yet to hear anything negative about it.
About Divinity?
Yeah.
I've heard negative things, but it's all people who hate games like Baldur's Gate.
All
Like-
right. Okay.
Yeah, if you like games like Baldur's Gate, the one that I would kind of compare it the most to as far as combat is concerned is this game Arcanum. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It's actually by the guys who did Fallout. It's like a steampunk sort of thing.
Okay.
The combat, as far as like the action points, because you can turn that game into just like straight up turn based as well with
Okay.
the action points, and it plays very similar to that. That game is actually really, really good too if you're into those kind of games, but it's also older and buggy as hell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely one thing that you run into with these huge, expansive, you can talk to everyone kind of video games. Like,
Mhm.
they try their best to program everybody perfect, but Jesus.
Yeah.
I that's one thing that I don't get. I don't need to talk to every single person, but they give you in this game, you can talk to everybody, and I'm not talking about hey, what's up, and they tell you that they used to be an adventurer too until they took an arrow in their knee. It's not like that. They have 19 different
Yeah.
question arcs that you can go down with everyone. It's very very expansive. I like the game, but it might prove to be a little bit too much homework for me. I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
can see.
We'll see. I hope it's going to be good though.
I'm interested to try out the multiplayer. I
Yeah.
think that seems like a cool system, especially with the decision making stuff. How it does like a rock paper scissors when people disagree on something.
Yeah.
Have you come across that yet with just the AI?
With a companion, yeah, I came
Yeah.
across it once, which is pretty cool. I lost rock paper scissors, which is cheating because I never lose rock paper scissors. It's just bullshit. Um, yeah, I think it's definitely a cool game. It looks really good for this style of game, and the character creation is kind of absurdly intricate. Um,
To some degree, I would agree.
like and not like Skyrim is, or what's that other one? WildStar.
Murders?
Not like WildStar or Skyrim, where it's intricate, but it's like this is where you want your jawline to be, and this is how big you want your nose to be. No, this is like you've got 50 different categories that you can put your 4 skill points into. So,
Yeah.
like, figure it out. And you're like, okay,
Yep. And if you've never played the game before, you're just like, what the fuck?
pretty much.
Except they do have those stock classes or whatever.
They do, which I probably should have done, but I didn't. I always like to make my own characters because
I do.
I don't know, it makes me feel better. Even though I probably am gonna restart the game at least 3 more times before I find somebody that I like.
That's what I've ended up doing
Right.
like 3 times today.
It's that, or you have to read an FAQ before you even play the game and risk
Meh.
spoiling things.
Meh. That's
Right.
alright.
Right. And there's a lot of like character creation let's plays too that I'm sure you could find.
Oh,
pretty funny.
that's interesting. I would have never even thought about that. But yeah, like I always find that the biggest obstacle of I don't want to restart a game like 5 hours in. Like
Right.
I understand that those games are 70, 80 hours. Like that's why when I played Dragon Age, everyone said that the mage was they were having the most fun with the mage character, and that it's fairly easy to kind of pick up and play as that character. So that's what I went with, and I've been happy with it so far. But like, I wouldn't have wanted to restart Dragon Age, as far in as I am. Like, I probably would have just been like, okay, well, I'm just going to slug as this rogue or whatever, that I'm not enjoying.
Yeah, I do see. I see what you're saying, and I've done that with games before, and that's when you just think to yourself, why am I even freaking playing this game? And you just die off. At least I do. My interest dies off because I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth it after a while.
But Divinity has the party system, right? Like that's kind of I've always liked games with party systems because you've always kind of had that flexibility to like not play the protagonist, like just kind of focus all of your.
They do, which is cool, but you have to make 2 characters right away, which once again is like how much more shit do I have to try to figure out
Yeah.
right in the beginning of a game?
That might be
I
a
don't
little
know.
much.
Once I actually figure this game out, I think I'm gonna like it a lot. But I still am not at the point where I figured it out yet.
A lot.
I like that game a lot. Okay, so
Does that, well, we'll have to. We should definitely try out the multiplayer.
I agree. I definitely agree. Speaking of multiplayer, let's move on to our other player then. Unless you have anything else, Joel.
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Mr. Ryan Hayes, I've seen you posted a screenshot today of what was that game?
Oh, Kentucky Route Zero.
Let's hear about that. I'm interested.
I am not far in. I've probably only put an hour in, and honestly, before I forgot that we were recording the podcast tonight, I had planned to put probably another hour or two into this, and we'll probably do so after we record. It is, it's an adventure game. It is a point-and-click adventure, but the writing and style and atmosphere of that game are unlike anything else I've played. I've heard that it kind of takes a little while to pick up, but like I said, I'm only an hour into it, and this game is compelling as fuck.
Is it like noir-esque? Like the art style is very very picture book 50s. Like
It's so it's starting to get surreal. Like things are happening that you don't really have a good reason for things to be as weird as they are. There's a lot of talk about ghosts and things like that. I don't think I'm a ghost, but I don't like you don't really have a good grip of what's going on in the beginning of that game. You're this guy who has to deliver a package and kind of keep getting distracted by the people you're meeting on the road, basically.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't talk a lot about it. I think next time I'll have a
Well,
lot more to
what
say
does it
about this
play
game.
like?
It's a point and click adventure. It is, you are a guy, you click on things, you interact with things, dialogue trees. But
Do you have
it's so well written.
is it like an inventory kind of game? Do you collect items? Do you combine
You
items? Do you
yes, you find items, but it's nothing like, oh, you have a screwdriver and a book of matches and a bassoon, and you're trying to figure out which one will unlock a
Maybe you
door.
don't have a bassoon.
Okay.
It's, for me, it's been a lot of this guy gave me beef jerky and I could give it to my dog or not give it to my dog. Like,
Oh, gotcha.
stuff that seems inconsequential but may not be inconsequential, or I picked something up on the ground and I kind of left it because I didn't feel the need to take it with me, which is a weird concept for an adventure game. But it's like, oh, you found this cool thing. It's like, okay, well, do you want to take it with you, or kind of put it where you found it? And I kind of left it where it was because it, it's a very, very difficult game to describe. I would say anyone who likes point and click adventure games and anyone who likes reading, um, as far as it's written like a super compelling novel. It's a lot of kind of third party. You're kind of bouncing between not necessarily perspectives, but it's told in a way where it's not just that person. It kind of has a broader scope in what the text describes. Maybe a hybrid between a text adventure and a graphical adventure, like a point and click adventure. I don't know. It's a weird game. It's unlike anything I've ever played. I'm only 46 minutes, an hour into it, and I highly, highly recommend it already.
Nice.
It could be complete garbage, but I highly doubt it for as much as I'm enjoying the first little bit of it.
Well, it
The
looks
thing I will say that's a weird caveat is it is 5 parts. It's episodic. Only 3 are out. It's been out for like 3 years, I think.
okay.
2 or 3 years. So it's a slow burn. That's kind of why I was hesitant about. I think it's 25 or $30 for the full price. I picked it up on the Steam sale for like 15. That was my only hesitation to paying like $30 for this game, where there's no real hard deadline. That being said, I'm kind of glad they're taking their time. If it keeps up the pace, and everything I've read about this game is each episode is better and better. There's some like free to play episodes on their website that you can download, which are kind of like I think they're supposed to be like side stories in the world. So it's super interesting. It's unlike a lot of things I've ever played.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, and from
It's
your
gorgeous.
description,
The style of that game is unbelievably gorgeous.
definitely
Yeah,
has
the
style out the
screenshot I
window.
post, I don't post a lot of screenshots, but I came across 2 guys pushing a plane down a highway, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to
I'm just gonna
take a
shoot.
screenshot and
Yeah,
share this with my friends because this looks fucking awesome.
it does, and that screenshot like perfectly, like got me interested in this game that I probably never
I
would have been
agree.
interested in. So, great job, man. What else have you been
Um,
playing though?
I I've been playing, a lot of Mario Kart. I picked up Smash Brothers for the 3DS. Um, Partially because I wanted a soundtrack and I have a video game buying problem.
Right.
And the other part is, man, I like Smash, and the 3DS one is a nice way to play Smash on the couch when I'm watching movies. Like,
True.
You could do that with a Wii U.
I know I can, but sometimes I go to like my parents' house or something, and I bring my Game Boy. So, I think it's perfectly competent on the 3DS. I'm actually kind of impressed with how well it plays there. The levels are a lot more simplistic, which is kind of a bummer, but it doesn't have the horsepower. So, And then I have been playing so much fucking Hearthstone, it's not even funny.
Really?
I have fallen down the computer CCG hole. Holy goddamn, I love Hearthstone. So I found that it came out for Android, and I heard a bunch of good things, and I put it on my Android tablet, and it didn't run well. And I'm like, okay, this seems cool. Let me see what the computer version's like. So I downloaded it for my PC, and I have been playing it nonstop. Like, I was playing it before we started the podcast. Like, I fucking love that game. It
It's a fun
is
game, dude.
super fun. It is super addicting to just play a couple hands. Like, I'm, through most of the tutorial. I think I've won, a handful of matches. I feel the matchmaking is super competent. Like, I win some, I lose some, which is exactly what you want. I don't know, maybe it's less so when you're higher levels. Did a
Well,
little
here's the
bit of
big thing. Like,
deck
do you
building.
feel the need to pay for the cards?
No, not even a little bit. But
Not even a little bit. Interesting.
maybe if I keep up this enthusiasm for the game, I can imagine hitting a wall when whatever, unlock everything or the rewards don't start. I feel like I'm getting rewards and unlocks and packs at a fast enough rate, and I'm still unlocking characters and things like that, where I'm getting the little kind of reward morphine drip. So maybe once that dries up, but what I've put into this game already, if I ended up spending $5 or $10, like fucking whatever, like it's really good,
Right.
Because that's what they want you to do.
and that's fine. Like I don't have a problem with that. But like I said, right now I don't see the need to because I'm still relatively early on. But yeah, I think it's great. I wish it ran a little bit better on older Android tablets, but it works perfectly fine on a laptop. Like it works perfectly fine on the TV. Like it's great.
Is this
Fucking love it.
All right. I'm interested in it. I mean, there's not many CCGs that.
It's simplified
Knocking.
Magic. Like it's
Yeah.
as someone who used to play Magic, like it is exactly that game with Warcraft characters.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
but it's great.
Cool. Very cool. All right, Hearthstone. So check that out if you haven't already. Has there been anything else on your video game adventures?
No. I beat Sonic 2.
He's the fastest thing alive.
A friend of mine that I grew up with, and I had a revert back to our childhood night, and he came over and we stayed up late and we played and beat all of the old video games we used to play, and that was a lot of fun.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
What-
so we played through Sonic 2, played some Zelda, then we played some modern games. We played Infamous, kind of a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, it was just kind of nice, like, to hang out with, the kid you grew up playing video games with and played the old video games again. Sonic 2 was kind of always our thing. Like, we used to play that all the time. And that game is surprisingly easy to beat when you know what you're doing. Like, pick that game up and passing the controller back and forth, like, kind of got right back into the zone, which is kind of neat. Like, it becomes muscle memory at a certain point. Like you realize you remember all the boss patterns and all that stuff, even if you haven't touched that game in like 20 years or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like some of these things you can't unlearn. You've just done too many times. Like you could try to forget how to play it, and it just wouldn't happen.
Well, yeah, I've probably played that game hundreds and hundreds of times
Right.
like as a child, but like, when do you play?
It's been etched into your brain.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Well, that was a good. Those were some good video games everybody's played. As for me, Ryan and I played the Borderlands pre-sequel. We talked about that. A little bit of Divinity. We talked
did?
about that. What else have I played? I picked up Age of Mythologies, which is a Microsoft RTS that came out right before Age of Empires 3.
Okay.
So it doesn't run off of the AoE 3 engine, though. It runs off of the AoE 2 engine. Um, and I had this game when I was younger, and I remember playing it and enjoying it. And I don't know. It seems overly simplistic to me now. It just doesn't seem.
It's not
Since
your cup of tea.
well, no, it is my cup of tea. It's exactly my cup of tea. It's just a little easy. And I feel like I played an awful lot of Age of Empires 3, and especially within the past few years. Like, if I ever wanted to play an Age game, it was always going to be Age of Empires 3. So, like,
Do you think
going
that
backwards.
do you think that that is unique to strategy games because strategy games are so reliant on the mechanics? For like a platformer is a platformer, right? It doesn't matter if you play a 20-year-old platformer or one that came out this year. But real-time strategy is so fine-tuned and down to the mechanics and the pacing. Like, can you think of an old real-time strategy that you like just as much as when it first came out?
Well, I don't know about when it first came out because I didn't play it when it first came out. But Warcraft, the original Warcraft, I still think is just as hard as it ever was. And to a larger degree, Warcraft 2 is absolutely my favorite RTS of all time. Like, I don't think
Warcraft 2 I can still play. Warcraft 1 to me is unbelievably slow. Like, I find that game frustrating.
it's slow, but you can raise the game speed.
Ready
I
to work.
suppose. Yeah.
Um,
Suck.
and here's the thing about original. Well, no, we're not gonna talk about original Warcraft. We talked about it enough. I talk about Blizzard games a lot, but that's really like the roots of how I think video games should work are. I not to suck Blizzard's dick immensely, but I think that they just take their time. They do a good job. They put nice Easter eggs in there. It's the same reason I like Bethesda as much as I do. Like, these games are just made well.
I mean, Blizzard has an impeccable track record. They kill games before they'll put out a mediocre game. Like,
Correct.
they'll scrap $1 million projects. They
Yeah.
just did that.
Look at StarCraft
Yeah, they
Ghosts.
just did that. Yeah.
Look at, no, what was the MMO they just scrapped?
Yeah.
Which is becoming
Are you talking about Overwatch?
Overwatch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
See, I think that looks pretty cool though. So if they did just scrap a game that was supposed to be an MMO, good for them. There's too much of that crap going around anyway.
too much MMO.
But
crap.
putting out.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, I understand why they would want to start a new one, but you're also going to be putting out a competitor for a game that you created that is still
and you
like
have the only successful one.
exactly.
Right.
I mean, there are others that are moderately successful. Like, I mean, the Final Fantasy 15, is that what it is? 14?
14.
That one is still pretty successful, but for the most part, the rest of them have fallen by the wayside pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else have I played? We did Gauntlet. That was after
we
the
did
last
Gauntlet.
podcast, and Gauntlet was fun.
Gauntlet.
I still have to play that. I have not played it yet.
Not enough. There's not enough for us to talk about with Gauntlet, though. It's a fucking Gauntlet game. You know.
Yeah.
That's
you're getting
exactly what you
into.
expect.
It is Gauntlet. You play is Gauntlet.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we did talk about that last
Oh,
podcast.
did we? All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm glad I'm not going into detail about it. And I also picked up. There was one other game that I played, and I can't remember the name now. But it was not very good, so I'd like to talk about it. Oh, Lords of Zolmania. Xulima. Zolmia?
Never heard of it.
Whatever. It is a fantasy RPG that looks like it would be good because it's a fantasy RPG, and I'm all about that shit. I love Heroes of Might and Magic. The reviews for it were really positive, and then I got into the game, and it's fucking turn-based, and I was my heart sank. I was like, why? Why?
My heart would be free.
No, I mean, I'm still gonna play the game again because it gets such good reviews. But be warned, it's turn-based. It did give me a chance to actually have a revelation about turn-based games, though. It's more
How so?
well because I've always looked at them as just being slow and dragging on for no fucking good goddamn reason. Um, and I realize that I've just been watching you play them, and that's why I think that they're the most boring things in the world. But if you,
That's bullcrap. I play them great.
well, I think you play them the way you like them, which is fine for you, but I don't want to fight around for 19 hours to
Oh,
go
I
fight
do.
one boss.
Always.
So that one boss is just incredibly easy at that point, and it doesn't even really matter. So, like, I thought, well, that's just the way you play them, because that's the way I've always seen people play them. But with this game, I just kind of kept moving forward. Just keep moving forward, keep like progressing the story, keep making it challenging, and then using the slowness of combat as a way to actually strategize and make solid decisions, not just kind of hit somebody with a dagger every 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
like since I've been playing it that way, I do like this game more than I thought I would. So I'm gonna keep going. If this is a turn-based strategy game that I can actually stomach, I'm gonna frickin' do it. Much to my, I don't know. It's surprising me already. So, but that's it. That's all that I've played. I did pick up quite a few things in the Steam sale that I have not played yet. Most recently, the new Wolfenstein game, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, it's
I've
so
heard
good.
really good things about it.
It's
So
so good.
It's 40 gigs though. Like it's
Yeah.
huge. I started
It's a good-looking
downloading it
game.
today, and then I was like, well, I gotta do other things on the internet. Like I'm not gonna just be downloading this for 4 hours. So I paused
I
the
don't
download.
want to build that game up. It is a really good game. I think the most impressive thing that game has going for it is so much better than a Wolfenstein game has any real right to be. As far as like the characters are interesting and the plot is interesting, and it's like there's been good Wolfenstein games. Like the last couple, Wolfenstein games were fun and like you're just blowing up Nazis, but this one is a good fucking game. Like,
Yeah,
like everything about it is pretty solid. Like, there's slow parts. There's the stealth is kind of clunky, and this, that, the other thing. But like overall, it's super fucking solid. And it's like, oh wait, this is you care about the BK Blazkowicz, who was never had any depth whatsoever, other than he got a little bit bloodier when he got shot.
right. And made the noises every once
Yeah,
in a while.
yeah. So it's well worth playing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's been something that's been on my wish list since the day it was released, and finally went on sale enough for me to get it. I also picked up Transistor like Joel, and I picked up Bastion at Joel's
Bastion, yeah,
at his
good game.
recommendation. So I'm gonna try out those games, and see what I feel about those. And then it looks like everybody, well, a few people on my Steam friends picked up Two Worlds. So
Yeah, I got that one.
yeah,
What is that? Why
Two
is
Worlds
that?
2.
yeah, Two Worlds 2.
The first one was apparently a shithole, but the second one I've heard good things about. It's just an open world game.
Yeah, it's a strategy game. It supports multiplayer. It's just an RPG strategy game that I have yet to play.
But I saw
I've
everyone
owned it
buying it.
forever.
Like, did it get like super cheap? Like,
It was
why
like
did
$3
everyone-
It was
or
$3.
something like that.
Yeah, it was $3, and the reviews for the game are good.
Yeah.
Whether or not the game's good itself, I don't know. Like I said, I've never fired it up. So.
Like I said, the first one was like a major disappointment. I know a lot of people were like that game got hounded on for how bad it was.
Yeah.
From everything I've heard, is they fixed the problems of in the second game, and it actually is like a decent game. And my worry with the reviews is that they may be just like comparing it to the first game to some extent. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like the first game was so bad that when you play the second one, you're like pleasantly surprised, and it might skew your view. So, having never played the first one, I'm interested to see what the game's like. But I didn't even install it after I bought it because I don't plan on playing it anytime soon.
Either do I. It's definitely a bundle game, and I think I did pick it up in a bundle. Is how I got it. But I mean, bundle games they're great ass bundle games. I got Fez in a bundle. Not that I like Fez, but I mean, it's arguably a great game. So teach
Fucking
their own.
Fest.
Teach their own. as far as news goes, I believe that everyone should be up to date on the Sony hacks that went down with taking down the PSN, taking down
And
Lizard
the Xbox
Squad!
Network.
and the Xbox network.
They
Um,
fixed the PSN.
they fixed the PSN. I don't know if they fixed the Xbox network yet. I'm not
They
sure.
fixed that like the next day. Like
Oh,
that
did
one
they?
was back up pretty quick. It was the PlayStation Network that was down for a couple days.
These freaking lizards.
I saw stuff like people, like some kid called the police to ask about what was going on with the PSN.
He called
Just
my-
like,
he called
yeah,
my-
Well,
there's some ridiculous stuff that people did because of this.
because
He
of the
didn't
PSN.
know. He
Yeah.
didn't know. It was an emergency.
So he called the cops and asked what was going on with the PSN.
He went
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why is my internet not working? I can't sign in. Do you know what the problem is?
People are
Holy
the
moly.
worst.
Yeah.
What? People call 911 with chicken nuggets. It happens. McDonald's don't give me my chicken nuggets. I call 911.
Okay. Well, that's interesting and amazing.
Google it. It happened.
All right.
Yeah, I
well,
don't think there's a ton of other stuff though that,
No,
that
not a
really.
lot.
I mean, it's the holidays. Everyone's not at work, or you know,
yeah.
not a lot goes on in the video game world until next year.
Yeah. Except there is a lot of people playing video games now, I do believe.
Yes, exactly.
This is definitely the insurgence of everyone and their mom playing. This is kind of interesting. Kohl's is inadvertently selling Marty McFly costumes, which is pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're selling like the flannel shirt that he wears and that stupid vest, which is pretty hilarious. They
What,
don't-
right now?
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, they didn't do it on purpose, but they have these two items. And that's
I'm
a
going
big
to
deal.
Kohl's.
Which-
so get your Halloween costume for next year.
Right, and as we all
I'm going to
know,
wear that daily.
it is 2015. This is the year that Marty McFly goes back to, or forward to.
Oh yeah, we get hoverboards.
We're
We get
supposed to get
hoverboards.
hoverboards. It's pretty cool. So, all right,
Hoverboards.
we're in the
yes.
new year. Let's talk a little bit about the last year. Last year had a lot of video game releases. A lot of we had a couple consoles coming out, which is pretty crazy. What do you guys think was the biggest hit for you? I know this one's hard,
Yeah.
and I didn't give you a heads up.
What?
I mean-
Dragon Age.
Yeah, I would have to say Dragon Age
Yeah,
Inquisition.
Dragon Age. Guaranteed.
I have to say, Mario Kart 8 is the one that I keep putting in. Like, that's one where people come over or, you know, hopping online with my friends occasionally. Like, Mario Kart 8, I think I have played the most throughout 2014. As far as, like, a single game.
Yeah.
What I've enjoyed the most is kind of a very difficult thing to kind of pin down. I play a lot, or a little bit of a lot of things. I mean, Dragon Age was fucking great. Continues to be fucking great. I'm nowhere near finished that game because it's
I'm not either. I haven't played
80
it.
hours, 70 hours.
I was at like 45 last I played, and I haven't played it in a couple weeks since the Steam sale kicked into full force. So
Yeah.
Steam sale will do that for you.
yeah, it did.
I don't know. I played a fuck ton of Spelunky this year. Played a lot of Fez.
Yeah.
I mean, South Park Stick of Truth was pretty fucking incredible. That
That
may
was a
have been
surprise.
Yeah, that was
my
good.
favorite kind of like beginning to end like video game experience of 2014.
I still
As
haven't-
far as a game that I finished and went, holy shit, that game was awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my most enjoyable video game of this year is one that I didn't play. Oh, holy shit! I didn't even talk about the biggest game that I played, and
What's
I played
that?
a lot of. Far Cry 4. I played.
Ah.
A shitload of
Oh,
Far
alright.
Cry 4. I
Did
finally.
you play 3?
I did not. Well, I played Blood Dragon, but no, I never played 3. I was having computer issues with overheating, and after redoing my thermal compound like 6 times, I finally just ordered another water cooler and hooked it up, and my processor now runs at 7 degrees Celsius. So it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty stoked about that. But the main point was I really wanted to play Far Cry, and I just couldn't play it. I've had this game for 3 weeks just without being able to play it, and I finally got to play it. And man, is this game fantastic! It looks gorgeous. You're in I don't even know where you're supposed to be. It's some fictional country.
Tibet.
Yeah, but for the most part, it is like Tibet, Nepal, that kind of area. Just you've got a grappling hook, and you climb on shit, and you climb mountains, and you fight white rhinos, and the white rhinos kill you a bunch of times, but you still keep going back to them, and they keep killing you. And then you gut animals to get their innards, and then you can throw their innards at enemies, and then bears will come out of the woods and eat your enemies. It's just
Bears.
yeah, bears or cougars or mountain lions. Just
I love cougars.
The random shit that happens in those games are some of the best video game moments. When you're like fighting guys and then an animal decides to attack them, it's just
Yeah,
hilarious.
I would agree.
completely awesome. The the action style of the game, I guess I would say, is very, very neat too, very unique. Probably not to other Far Cry games, but I just haven't played that many, so.
Well, I mean,
unique
it's
to me.
so 4 is basically a super refined version of 3, and 3 was a great fucking game. So,
Okay, all right. Is it the same thing? It's not. It's a different
I
plot,
mean, it takes
right?
place in a different area. The villain's different, but it's
Pretty
the
much
same
thing.
philosophy. It's run around, kill things, overtake points, and then fight wildlife. You don't go back in time and have a ghost tiger, but
Right.
that's probably the largest difference.
Okay. Yeah, the game's fun as shit too. Like zip lining everywhere is a lot of fun. Just I really like the world, and the world is one that you can get immersed in fairly easily. And it's a place that you can actually enjoy being. And I think that with video games now, that's harder and harder to come by. You know, being able to have that sense of escapism so pure and so just like positive. I mean, there are still people that are shooting at you, and there's some evil dictator that wants to hang out with you. But like overall, the game's just good times. It's good times.
I find that Far Cry 3 was a game like Skyrim that I didn't want to fast travel
Right.
because I found the things that I did in between missions just as interesting.
Yeah. Yep. That's very well put about this game. So yeah, Far Cry 4 probably my biggest deal of 2014. I really love that game.
I'm also looking through my games that I've been playing on Steam to see what I actually played all year. And fucking Saints Row 4. I did not realize that this was early this year that I played through that game, but holy fuck is that game a lot of fun.
Yep.
Saints Row 4 is a video game in the fact that it is super silly and super fun and super broken, and it is just delightful from beginning to end. It is juvenile, it is rude, it is just unnecessarily violent and vulgar, and everyone should play it.
I still
right,
hop
yeah.
back in it and play it every once in a while because I love that game so much.
I have not yet played it. I own it, just haven't fired it up. I will. It'll be one of those games that I'll definitely play.
Saints Row 3 was a lot of fun too, but Saints Row 4 was just over the top.
Titters. All right, guys. Well, I don't think I have anything else to add. Do any of you?
Not really.
All right.
I'm gonna prepare my body.
Cool.
For what?
Glad to hear it.
I'd like to know if anyone is looking forward to any video games this year.
Witcher 3.
Joel took mine.
What's that?
Joel took mine.
I mean, I still have to beat The Witcher 2, but
Oh my
The
god, that
Witcher
game
3,
looks so fucking good though.
yeah. I mean, the one trailer that I saw for it looked freaking gorgeous. But then again, the second game looked freaking amazing. So
I'm at the last part of Witcher 2. I'll probably just fire that up and finish it.
I'm probably gonna start over at some point in the near future and play it from
I just
start to
want to know
finish.
how that resolves. Like, I don't. I can't sit through that game again. That game was really good, but that game is also long.
I
Yeah.
forget most of what I had happen in that first chapter, that first town area. So I think I'm going to go back and do it again.
I definitely have to reboot. It bugged out on me, and I reached a place where I can't move past. You're supposed to defeat this guy, and I defeat him, and I still don't move on. So I have to restart. Some games that are coming out this year that might be of note. Persona 5 comes out. I know that's pretty exciting to Ryan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We also are going
Do
to
you
get.
know how long it's been since Persona 4, man? And they've
Years.
milked that puppy. Animes, fucking ports, little rinky-dinky titles that just put in the Persona 4 characters in something. They've made a DDR game from the music of Persona 4.
Right.
The
They
music
need
of
to make a new
4
Persona,
is
man.
really good,
Well,
by the way.
they are making a new Persona. It should be coming out this year, Persona 5, so that's exciting. Star Fox for the Wii U is coming out.
Has anything come out on that game other than the over-the-shoulder screenshot for 3 seconds?
No,
No.
that's all that I've seen.
Yeah, Miyamoto's really
Keeping it close
that
to his
one
chest.
fucking lock and key.
Yeah.
Whatever, just give me a super high-res version of the N64 one. Give me that format, that length with new levels. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that would be. I think that's all that anybody really wants.
Well, I would also like multiplayer, online multiplayer.
Nah.
You don't
Whatever.
you don't want another Star Fox Adventures?
No.
Fucking dinosaurs.
Here's big
What?
news.
That game would have been fucking awesome if it wasn't a Star Fox game.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have.
Yes, it would have.
All right, big news for RTSs. We've got Star Wars Battlefront coming out, which if you've played any of the other Star Wars
No,
Battlefront,
yeah, this.
I don't
That's
believe
con-
that.
Battlefront's considered a RTS?
No. It's like
It's a third-person
Battlefield
shooter, right?
1942
It's-
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not coming out.
That's not going to come out, you don't think?
Nope.
All right, well,
Calling it now.
okay.
That game will be delayed. Is the new Duke Nukem Forever.
Prediction.
Prediction. All right, you
Is
heard
it
it here.
Overwatch? Overwatch supposed to come out this year too? Was there talk about
They
that?
listen. They're on Blizzard time, baby.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. That is
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It
We'd
was.
see that by 2020.
They were definitely playing it at BlizzCon this year. It was in people's hands. I just don't know how ready they are.
exactly. Hey, it could be out next week. They won't tell us. They'll
Yeah.
just go because it's going to be free to play. So they're just going to be like, here.
Whatever. I don't care. It's Blizzard. Do what you want to do. I'll buy it. Just let me know. Just
Yeah,
call
but you
me
don't
up
have
or
to buy this
whatever you
game.
need to do. I'm gonna know when you release your game, and then I'm gonna buy it. I
Right.
don't.
Well, okay, and another one that's coming out in huge news: new Resident Evil, Revelations 2, that no one cares about. So.
Yeah, they're also
Revelations
making
1 wasn't that bad.
7, aren't they?
No.
It's not coming out this year, but I think they're making the next Resident Evil. I think they're gonna keep going with the numbered ones. That's in development.
What about Silent Hill? Is that coming out now?
Again,
PT,
doesn't
yeah,
have a
Silent
doesn't have a
Hills.
release date,
doesn't,
and it's
yeah.
on Kojima time. So, but speaking of Kojima,
Metal Gear
I
Solid?
completely
Metal Gear
forgot
Solid
about
5.
MGS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna disappear when that game comes out.
well,
We're
it's
all going to take a little.
open world Metal Gear, baby. You won't know
Yep.
what to do with yourself.
I'm gonna have to quit my job.
And as far as that goes, I think that's going to be it for things that I'm excited about on the list that I'm looking at anyway. So there are a few good things that are coming out there.
Yeah.
Enough to get me excited about some of them. Other than that, I think that's going to end our New Year's.
New Year's podcast?
Our New Year's podcast, right? Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Does anyone have anything to add?
Well,
Any questions, comments, current events?
it's been a fun year.
It has been a great year. It's been a great year in video games. It's been a great year in friendships. Thank you guys for listening, those of you that are listening. And good luck with your video game adventures. Oh, I guess we should do sign-offs, too. So, closing now is Joel Hartlob,
Adios.
Ryan Blandy.
I really wanted a Wii Fit Trainer amiibo.
And Ryan Hayes.
I don't.
Either do I. Good night.